All right, we're on Yadayim Perek Daled Mishnah, fifth Mishnah in the fourth chapter of Masechet Yadayim. We're talking about the idea of Tuma. We're going back to the idea of Mitame et Yadayim. What books are Mitame Yadayim? So says the Mishnah, Targum Shebe Ezra Shebe Daniel. If you look at the books of Ezra and the books of Daniel, a lot of Ezra and Daniel are in Aramit. I mean, the Bartudera says, Targum Shebe Daniel Eve Ezra Kagon Kadena Tomrun Lahon Shebe Yirmiyah. Okay, so the parts of those books that are in Aramit, they're in Aramaic, they're not in Hebrew. Much of Ezra and the book of Daniel, almost a ton of books in Daniel is in Aramaic. Nonetheless, those are Lashon HaKodesh. Not Lashon HaKodesh in the sense, those are holy books, and therefore they're Mitamei Tayadayim. But the Bartunah says, Im katvu b'lashon HaKodesh. If you wrote them in Hebrew, if you translated, and we're going to see in the Mishnah, or if you took the words of the Navi and translated them into Aramaic, then this is what the Mishnah says. Targum shekatvo Ivrit. But if you have Aramaic that was written originally in Daniel and Aramaic, and you wrote it in Hebrew, or Ivrit shekatvu Targum, or Ivrit that you wrote as Aramaic, Ktav Ivri, or you wrote anything in Ktav Ivri, no mitamei tayadayim. Those are not mitamei tayadayim. Now, what's Ktav Ivri? Okay, so let's. You've probably seen it in museums, the ancient kind of museums. See if I can find it here. We have Wikipedia. Wikipedia has a whole entry on Ktav Ivri. Kav Ivri Hakadum, ancient Ktav Ivri. So this is called Ktav Ivri, and what we have today is called Ktav Ashuri. So the Wikipedia has a whole list. I mean, okay, this is the ancient Ktav Ivri. So you'll see, but they have old books. Or old, stone or whatever they wrote, even the coins they wrote are in Ktav Ivri. Whereas what we have today is called Ktav Ashurit. Why? So the Mishnah says. Let's finish the Mishnah and then we'll see a piece in Gemara and Sanhedrin. The Mishnah says, La'olam eno mitame. The books were not mitame. Ad sheyichtavu Ashurit, and until it's written as Ashurit al haor, on parchment, ubidio, and in ink. Meaning it has to be a real, what we consider a real Sefer Kodesh. When it's a real Sefer Kodesh, then it's Mitamei Yadayim. Why is it called Ktav Ivri? Shektav Haba me'ever hanahar. We're going to see that in the Gemara. V'kutim kotvim bo adayom. The Kutim write with it today. V'Yisrael hayu mishtamshim be'oto Ktav b'divrei chol. The Jewish people would use Ktav Ivri in their everyday writing. It was like their cursive. U'b'matbe'ot shel Ktav hanimtzeim bi'adeinu hayom shem mizman malchei Yisrael. On the coins that we see from the kingdoms of Israel, b'futachot be'oto Ktav. The same thing is true today. Aval haktav she'anu kotvim bo sfarim hayom, but the book, the font that we write, we call it a font today, books today, Ktav Ashuri, it's called Ashuri. V'hu haktav shaya beluchot. We have a Misorah that the original Ktav was written in the luchot. V'nikra Ashuri shu ha'meushar shebaktivot. It's the most meushar. It's the most, fixed or appropriate. Let's look at the Gemara. There's a Gemara in Sanhedrin Daf Chaf Aleph Amud Bet. The Gemara has a whole thing about the Melech has to have Sefer Torah with him all the time. So the Mishnah says, Amar Mazutra. The Gemara says, V'itei Mamar Ukva. They said, B'tchila nitna Torah liswa b'ktav Ivri. So they're like, originally the Torah was given b'ktav Ivri, what you're looking at now, V'lashon HaKodesh, and in Hebrew. Chazva nitna b'mei Ezra b'ktav. I'm sorry. Ktav Ivri. Originally, the Torah was given in Ktav Ivri. The original, what we saw here, I get confused between them. In this, the Torah was given in this. Okay, and where is I? Let's go back to the Gemara. V'lashon HaKodesh in Hebrew. Chazva nidna b'mei Ezra b'ktav Ashurit v'lashon Arami. Ezra came and turned it into Ashurit in Aramaic. Okay, biyadlam birum le'Yisrael Ktav Ashurit. V'lashon HaKodesh. They fixed for themselves, Ktav Ashurit and Lashon HaKodesh. So the Torah was really given in Ktav Ivri and Lashon HaKodesh. But what happened to Ktav Ivri? V'hinichu l'hedyoto Ktav Ivrit v'lashon Arami. The Hedyota, the simple people, they stuck with the original Ktav and Aramaic. And the Bartudura says, he says, Matbeot shel Ktav animtzim bi'adeinu hayom. We found coins. The times of the kings. They have Ktav Ivri, the old Ktav. We've seen tons of coins like that. The font we write Svarim today, Ktav Ashuri we call it. So this Ktav is called Ktav Ashuri. There's a Masorah that's the font that the Luchot Habrit were written in. I am not an expert on this. You obviously can share with me if you have thoughts about that idea, that Masorah, what the Luchot were written in. The Gemara says that the Torah was written in Ktav Ivri. The Torah was given in Ktav Ivri. Why the Luchot were in Ktav Ashuri? It's a topic for a much broader discussion. We'll stop here, dedicate our learning to the memory of my father, Rav Simcha ben Yitzchak Kalman. Make it a great day.